With having a watch channel, I get asked this question a lot. Should you avoid watches from micro-brands? And today I'm going to give you the reasons why you should buy a micro-brand watch. Let's get into it. Yes, and welcome to the Mad Watch Collector channel. So today I'm going to give you 5 reasons why you should buy a micro-brand watch, and I'm going to do it with the help of these lovely micro-brand watches. Each with their own unique characteristics, features, and there's something in there for everybody. First, let's get the definition of a microbrand. Wikipedia says, microbrand watches are wristwatches produced by independent watch companies that have an output of about 300 to 2,000 watches per year. That's a bit broad. Microbrands tend to be owned by 1, 2, or maybe 3 people so passionate about watches, they've decided to make a brand new watch themselves. They do tend to make a very short run of watches. That's really down to A, money, and B, you don't want to be left with 500 watches you can't shift. Microbrands aren't owned by shareholders or big conglomerates, which can be a fantastic thing for us, but also not a good thing.
I'll tell you about that in a minute.
Let's talk about the good stuff, shall we? And number 1 is bang for buck. Yes, value for money. We all love that, don't we? And we'll use the example of the beautifully crafted Laurier Neptune. Now, this is the 4th version of the Neptune. Laurier were founded in 2017 by a husband and wife partnership, and the watches they create are the perfect homage to all those fantastic watches from the mid-century. And they've been designed as if you've just bought them from 1957. Vintage inspired without taking the piss, which is very hard to do. For the Neptune, Laurier have taken inspiration from the Rolex Submariners of old, the Omega Seamaster 300 of old, and the Blancpain 50 Fathoms. So a culmination of those watches that everybody loves, you get this Neptune. Beautifully looking, gilt style, and you have to say they've absolutely nailed this look. Not only from the acrylic insert in the bezel to the bubble-domed acrylic crystal protecting the dial.
Polywatch included.
As I said, this is version 4. Version 1 housed an NH35 movement. This combined with the bubble crystal made the watch quite thick. It now houses the Miyota 90S5, the non-date version anyway, and it slimmed it down dramatically. And that's the thing with microbrands. They listen to their customers and are able to change little things with every version they do. It's another bonus for only bringing out a short run of watches. To buy this gorgeous 200-meter diver, it's gonna cost you £413. And I haven't even talked about the bracelet yet. Solid flat links, screw in, solid end links, beautiful milled clasp as well. This is an excellent example for value for money. Another excellent example is from RADCLIFFE watches. I've known and spoken to Tayyab, the owner, for about 2-3 years now. I was given the updates of his very first watch, which was the Haxel, an awesome manual wind chronograph using the ST19 movement. The amount of effort and money that goes into just making a prototype, us watch punters just don't understand. Well, this is the signature version 1, a gorgeous textured salmon dial watch for casual or dress use. It's a stainless steel watch, stainless steel beads of rice bracelet. It houses an NH36, which has a custom rotor and a custom day and date wheel. Sapphire glass on the front and the back. 100 meters of water resistance. For pre-order, this is only gonna cost you £289. I mean, that is superb. Please check out RADCLIFFE Watches website. They've got the signature version 2 coming out very soon. Also an amazing textured field watch as well. If what you are looking for is value for money, microbrands kick ass. Number 2, exclusivity. Yes, everybody likes to have something
that nobody else has got.
Microbrands only tend to make a short run of these watches. So let's say they make 250, they sell them out, but you've got 250 of these spread around the world. And the chances of you bumping into someone with that same microbrand watch is probably a lower percentage than someone wearing a rainbow Daytona bumping into someone with the same watch. For example, I give you the El Capitan Japan by Allez, a German brand that decided to make a fantastic digital watch. The owner of Allez is an architect, and you can really see the attention to detail in this stainless steel watch. Yes, stainless steel. Unlike a lot of my Casios, this watch is stainless steel with the bracelet as well. The screen is protected by a sapphire glass.
Not many Casios do that.
Also inside this watch is a custom module. It's 100 meters water resistant, and whenever I wear this watch I am very proud. Not that I'm not with my Casios, but I could probably bet my house on the fact I will never bump into anyone that owns this watch. Sometimes you just can't put a price on exclusivity.
Could you just click that like button, please? It really helps the channel. Thank you.
Number 3, unique designs. Microbrands dare to go where no big watch company dares to tread. A fantastic brand doing their own thing right now is ZEROWEST. This watch brand is inspired by British engineering feats, and I guess you can almost call them the pinnacle of microbrands. Probably call them an independent watch company. They have their own brick and mortar shop, and they have their own watchmaker that builds their watches. One of the partners is an ex-military engineer, and the cases are machined by an aerospace company that also do a lot of work for Formula 1. In the past, ZEROWEST have done amazing things. In their S4 watch, the case backs were made from a Merlin engine of a 1940 Spitfire that washed up in the sea after a pilot had to crash land due to the Spitfire running out of fuel. Those lengths of detail are amazing, and it makes you cling to the company. It shows you they care, they have a passion. When you look at a ZEROWEST watch, you can see a lot of detail and love has gone into it. Here I have the S2. It's to do with the Spitfire, which I absolutely love. The dial is modeled and designed as if it was ripped out of a Spitfire's cockpit. As you can see, the case is very unique, and the crown at 3 o'clock, which is screw in, is modeled after the joystick in a Spitfire for when the pilot triggered the guns. Just beautifully crafted, and I definitely look forward to working with ZEROWEST in the future. Talking of unique designs, well, unique for 2023, I have to show you the Taucher 1. This is an amazing dive watch inspired by all the dive watches of the 70s. It's a one-man band in Wolfgang that owns this company, and I can't find any fault in his watches at all. They are very distinguishable, and he's been around since about 2020, but just take a look at this beauty. Amazing 120 click bezel. The knurling on it as well as the crown is fantastic. Stainless steel case and screw down case back. A fantastically engineered mesh bracelet. It's a milled clasp, but it has this perlage finishing to it. What big brands do this under €1,000, huh? But check out that dial. Emerald green. The applied indices with that vintage orange lume is just spot on. A very cool seconds hand. And honestly, it doesn't matter if it's a big brand like Zinn or a micro brand like Wolfgang's HEINRICH, German watches are good. These are designed in Stuttgart and made in Pforzheim. Hope I got that right, Wolfgang. Sapphire crystal, 200 meters of water resistance. I know it's been around for a couple of years. It's had some updates to it, but I think this is one of my favorite watches of the year already. Now you need to check out HEINRICH watches because Wolfgang is coming out with a couple of great beauties soon, but you can buy the Taucher 2, which is a completely different animal, as well as the Taucher 2 GMT. I'm very excited for Wolfgang and his brand, and I'm very pleased to have a Taucher 1 in the collection. Last but not least, the personal touch. Now I could not,
Believe me, I've tried.
find the email address for Mr. Seiko or Mrs. Casio. You know, the top head honchos of these huge brands. I couldn't have a chat with them.
Not special enough.
However, I have the email address for every one of these brands I've just shown you, and I can directly speak to the owners, the designers, which is amazing. And I have never had a bad experience with a microbrand owner. They've always had time for me, and you know what? It just makes me want to own their watches more. I feel like I'm buying a part of them. And let's be fair, unless they're a brand like ZEROWEST, who have a very long waiting list on their watches, microbrands don't make an amazing amount of money, especially not the ones starting up. And that's why if you like the look of it and you're into it, show them the support and buy one. Case in point, the Commander by Sherwood Watches. Now this is a brand new Kickstarter watch by our very good friend Glyn Reynolds. He's not only a subscriber to the show, he's helped the Mad Watch Collector channel with logos and graphic design stuff I couldn't have done on my own. And he is a guy passionate about watches. Sherwood is an area in England where Glyn is very close to and where he was brought up. If you're not from England, Sherwood Forest was where Robin Hood lived. Anyway, Glyn's remit for himself was to come up with a dress diver. The name Commander obviously comes from James Bond, and the idea was to come up with a watch you could wear in the tuxedo one day and on the same day wear it to the beach
With a snorkel.
The Kickstarter campaign starts on February the 12th, and you remember I told you about value for money? Well, the super early bird price of the Commander is going to be £325. Now their caseback, crown and bracelet is stainless steel. It houses the high beat Miyota 9015, sapphire glass protecting the dial, ceramic bezel insert, 120 clicks, unidirectional. Glyn's adopted a simple but very design effective looking way of timing your boiled eggs. It's a very cool look. Check out the seconds hand. That whole thing is an arrow. The connotations of Robin Hood are coming through loud and clear. Beautifully applied indices, and you have another arrowhead at 12 o'clock. The touch of orange text below the hand stack is awesome. And for me, the watch may be a little bit too dressy, but I think there is a huge market for this watch, and I'd love for you to go check out the Sherwood website and be ready for that Kickstarter campaign on the 12th of Feb. Glyn's come out with two other colour variants. There's a blue and a green. I love that personal touch of having a micro brand and knowing the owners. Before I wrap up this show, I have to tell you about a few things you need to know about. It's all been roses so far, all positives. That's how I like to be in life, to be fair. But sometimes buying a micro brand may have its issues. Like, what's the resale value? If you like the watch, you buy it. And if you're thinking about the resale value of a watch, you're not buying it for the right reasons. Customer service! Now let's say the micro brand is just a one-man band. They could be inundated with emails and you might not get seen to straight away. That comes with the territory, but I have never had a bad experience with a micro brand when it comes to a broken watch. They've taken it in straight away, fixed it and sent it back. The watch company is closed. Now that's quite an issue. Case in point, the El Capitan from LA. Recently I was made aware that LA are no longer in business and the website has been taken down. If I have a problem with this watch, which has a custom module in it, I am not going to be able to send this to them for them to fix. If you are interested in a micro brand and that company has transformed a movement, adding a module to it, be wary that you might not be able to have it fixed in 3 or 4 years time. Fortunately, most micro brands use very common movements like a Sellita SW200, Miyota 8 and 9000s, or Seiko NH35s and 36s. They can be easily serviced and easily regulated and fixed. If they are not off-the-shelf movements, you may be stuck with a watch that doesn't work in 4 or 5 years' time. This has never been tested! And that is the last thing I think you need to be very wary about. Micro brands don't tend to have the money to send their watches away to be tested. Whether it's pressure tested, temperature tested, shock tested, you are the guinea pigs. But like I said, if you have bought a micro brand watch with an off-the-shelf movement, you haven't got much to worry about. So there you go. I think the positives more than outweigh the negatives in buying a micro brand watch. What they lack in horological history, they really tend to make up for in value and what you get for your money. And to be honest, wearing a micro brand watch gives me a sense of pride a Seiko probably would never give me. And what with the exclusivity and the personal touch you get, it's hard not to want one. If you've watched till the end of this show, thank you. If you haven't subscribed yet, why not? And if you have and you want more of the Mad Watch Collector channel, why don't you click here and join? And if I've got you for a few more minutes, why don't you click this show? Oh my gosh, you thought this show was good. This is amazing. Oh my gosh. Oh, the colours and all sorts of stuff, you know. Go click it. Come on, click it. Click it!